This marks the beginning of years of countless unanswered questions. It all starts on March 8, 2014 at midnight. 227 passengers along with 10 cabin crew members board Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 to make the journey from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia to Beijing, China. Captain Zahiri Ahmad Shah and co-pilot Farik Abdul Hamid go through all the necessary checkups to clear for departure. When everything checks out, they receive the green light and take off. What happened next is something no one anticipated. Almost 1 hour into the flight, MH370 is exiting Malaysian airspace and entering Vietnamese airspace when suddenly it disappears from the radars. Even though just 2 minutes earlier, everything seemed fine when Captain Zahiri responded to the Malaysian air traffic control.
Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
This was the last thing ever heard from MH370. No attempts were made to contact air control, and no mayday calls were sent out. It's like the flight vanished into thin air. The following morning, Flight 370 was officially reported missing.
The last sliver of hope vanished in an instant. Malaysia's Prime Minister announced today that Flight 370 went down in the Indian Ocean.
Immediately, a multinational extensive search begins. Initially, the search focuses on the vast expanse of the South China Sea and the Gulf of Thailand, around the area where the plane was last seen. But a breakthrough happens with data from the Malaysian military's primary radar system. The long-range radar was able to track the plane for an extra hour after its disappearance, uncovering that it had veered far off its intended course by turning back around and making several turns before ultimately ending up deep into the southern Indian Ocean. This discovery causes a shift in the search effort, leading it to become the largest and most expensive search operation in aviation history. Sadly, the area where Flight 370 supposedly crashed was so remote that everyone on board was presumed dead.
From Malaysia's capital to Beijing, Chinese state media reports radar contact with the plane was lost in Vietnamese airspace.
And the news sent shockwaves through the passengers' families. Months and years go by, and hope dwindles as time passes.
It's just been such a long time with no closure, no answers. There's not a day I don't think about it.
At some point during the search, pieces of wreckage were found along the shores of islands in the western Indian Ocean. Some were confirmed to belong to MH370, but that would be the extent of what's discovered. 3 years and 120,000 square kilometers of ocean later, the search was suspended. The location of Flight 370 remains a mystery, and the world is left to wonder what truly happened. Imaginations ran wild, and endless theories have been made, from alien abductions to hijackings to being struck by a meteor. Everything seemed possible, but one theory in particular stood out above the rest.
This aircraft was deliberately taken wherever it's gone by somebody who knew everything about the 777.
All fingers pointed at Captain Zahiri. Information about his personal life came to light, which turned the spotlight on him. Sources claim that he and his wife were undergoing a divorce, with his wife and 3 children moving out of the house the day before the incident. And apparently, he was having an affair that was on the rocks too. But his family vehemently denied all of these claims. As the investigations deepened, a troubling discovery surfaced that raised even more suspicions. On the captain's home flight simulator, a path was found that was strangely similar to that of Flight 370, with matching turns and landing in the southern Indian Ocean. And the fact that Flight 370 made a turn at Penang Island, Captain Zahiri's hometown, led many to speculate that this was his way of saying a final goodbye.
It was completely out of the ordinary that there was no distress call. That the turn takes place and there's absolute silence. It means that somebody on that plane redirected it to a new course heading, and they were not telling anyone.
If proven true, then this was a tragic, premeditated mass murder-suicide. However, in July 2018, the Malaysian Ministry of Transport reported the crash's cause inconclusive.